Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's 1980 Detroit Tigers season replay. Today's matchup is between the California Angels and the Detroit Tigers at Tiger Stadium. On the mound for the Angels is Chris Knapp, whose record is 0-1 with a 3.05 ERA. And pitching for the Tigers today is Jim Bibby, whose record is 14-7 with a 3.90 ERA. And so if you take a look here at the standings, we are still 4.5 games back. Every day it's standings watch. And as you take a look here at the last 10 for our division, no one's really gaining or losing ground. We're sort of keeping pace with the Yankees. We're staying within reach, but it's definitely been a struggle lately because our bullpen, due to injuries, has been very unpredictable. And because of that, Aurelio Lopez blew an opportunity for us in yesterday's game, as the last two games really went into extra innings. We pulled this one out in the bottom of the 11th, and we lost this one in the 10th. So it's been rough lately with the bullpen and suffering injuries to three center fielders. We're on our fourth now, and going into this series against the Angels, we have some players who are listed as tired, and I'll show you that here in 1 second. There you go. Look at that. So we have Bibby on the mound, and our bullpen is a wreck. Comstock was injured for just one game, so he's not available today. Technically, Lopez and Schatzeder, a lefty and another righty, will not be available today. So Tobik will probably be our righty closer if we get to that point. And this gentleman here, Andy Replogle, I believe is how you pronounce it, he pitched his first game of the year yesterday. We pulled him up, again, due to our injury issues. And here is the Tigers lineup for today. We have Whitaker and Trammell, both injured. So we have Brookins playing second and Wagner playing short. And this is how we reconfigured the lineup. I have no idea if this is going to work or not today. We kind of stacked the top with lefties. So that should be challenging. The Angels are a completely new team for us. We have not played them at all this year. So a new team and new baseball cards, which you'll see right over here on the right side, the 1980 Topps card that represents the player over here. So at any rate, let's do the lineup. Batting first and playing second base is Bobby Gritsch. Batting second and DHing is Rod Carew. Batting third and at third base is Kearney Lansford. Batting cleanup and playing first base, making his season debut, is John Harris. Batting fifth and at shortstop is Steve Lubrach. Batting fifth and in left field, that's sixth and in left field is Don Baylor. Batting seventh and in right field is Dan Ford. Batting eighth and catching today for the Angels is Darryl Miller. And batting ninth and in center field is Rick Miller. And here we go, pitching for Detroit. It's Jim Bibby. He had a rough outing his last time out. This is his eighth start for Detroit. He's undefeated. He's 5-0 with a 4.81 ERA. Only 27 Ks in 43 innings. Opponents are batting .246 against him. And as I mentioned, really his last three starts have been terrible. But he has not taken the loss. He's kept us in the games, and we need him to do the same today, so we can maybe gain a game on the Yankees. So leading off, here's Bobby Gritsch against Jim Bibby. And Gritsch grounds it to Wagner at short, and that's an infield signal. So not a great start, as we don't have our two best middle infielders available. So Gritsch is at first base. Here's Rod Carew, Hall of Famer, and he pops it up to Wagner at short. There's one down. Next up is Kearney Lansford. He won a batting title once with the Boston Red Sox, and he walks. So runners at first and second, and only one out. John Harris, here he is making his debut for the season. Oh, wow. And Bibby walks, the bases loaded. So we find ourselves in a real bind here already. I'm going to keep the infield back and try to turn 2 as we have some slow base runners here. This is not our best infield option, though, as it is grounded to Wagner, and we do turn 2 to get out of the inning. So a shaky start for Bibby. We head to the bottom of the first. Let's go ahead and do the Tigers lineup. Batting leadoff and playing third base today is Richie Hebner. Batting second and at first base, Jason Thompson. Batting third and in left field is Steve Kemp. Batting cleanup and catching is Lance Parish. Batting fifth and in right field is Garry Hancock. Batting sixth and in center field is Tony Armas. Batting seventh and DHing today is Carlton Fisk. Batting eighth and playing second base is Tom Brookins. And batting ninth and playing shortstop is Mark Wagner. And on the mound for the Angels is Chris Knapp, making his fourth start of the year. He's 0-1 with a 3.05 ERA. He got called to the majors to fill in a spot in the rotation due to injury. He has more walks than strikeouts. Opponents are batting .237 against him. So Chris Knapp, he was a first-round draft pick for the Chicago White Sox. He was drafted out of Central Michigan University. So he's someone who is close to home for me. And he was traded in a blockbuster deal by the Sox with Brian Downing and Dave Frost to these Angels. And in return, the Angels sent back Bobby Bonds, Thad Bosley, and Richard Dotson. And basically, 1980 in real life was his last season. He went 2-11 in real life. And he spent the next 3 years in the minor leagues, mostly with the Cubs and Toronto, with very high ERAs. And in 1983, he was out of baseball. So just a little bit of a back story there for Chris Knapp. Here's Richie Hebner leading off the bottom of the first. And Hebner hits a high fly ball to center field and is tracked down by Miller for the first out. So one down. Here's JT batting the number 2 spot for the first time all year, and he walks. That's why we put him there. He does have a really high on-base percentage. But this is a double play candidate here, Steve Kemp, who's batting .280 versus righties. And Chris Knapp throws a wild pitch over the head of Darryl Miller, and Thompson takes second base. So there goes a double play opportunity. And a 1-0 count for Kemp, and he blasts it to left center field, and it's way gone. 451 feet, the 13th home run for Kemp, and it's 2-0 Detroit. Next up is Lance Parish with 1 out, and Parish pops it up on the infield to second base, and Gritsch has it for the second out. So 2 down. And here's Garry Hancock leading the team in batting average, home runs, and RBIs. He's tied with Thompson with 71 ribbies. And that made, oh man, it's going to fall short as it is caught on the warning track. I thought he was going to take over the lead in RBIs with 72, but he falls short, and we head to the top of the second. 2-0 Detroit. Don Baylor leads off. One time the all-time hit-by-pitch leader. Now that is owned by Craig Biggio. Baylor gets a base hit to center as Dan Ford steps in. And Ford grounds it to Hebner at short. They can't turn 2. The only play is to first. So Baylor is on second, and the catcher, Darryl Miller, comes to the plate. And he pops it up Brookins at second base catches it on the outfield grass. And here's the other Miller, center fielder Rick Miller. Miller and Miller Light, I guess. Baylor at second base. And Rick Miller grounds it to Wagner, and there's the third out. So we head to the bottom of the second. And here's Tony Armas, who is 3 for 14, batting .214 as a Tiger since his call up from AAA. And he grounds it to first. John Harris makes the play. Next up is Carlton Fisk, and Fisk gets a base hit to left field. And we're not going to risk getting thrown out at second base by Baylor. We're going to let Brookins swing away. This might be a bunting opportunity with a 176 hitter. But Brookins had a really good game. He was player of the game a couple games ago. And he walks. So good job by Brookins here in the second half of the season. Fisk at second, Brookins at first. And now would be a good time to lay down a bunt. But Wagner is batting .385 versus righties, albeit in limited duty. And Wagner pops it up into foul ground on the third base side. And Kearney Lansford drops it into fair territory, and everybody is safe. So bases are loaded for Richie Hebner, who came through with a 2 RBI single in yesterday's game. And there it is again. Base hit into center field, 2-run score. And it's 4-0 Detroit. So a 2 RBI double for Hebner. And next up is JT. We're going to have him try to pull the ball to the right side to get Wagner in. And he does as he grounds it to first. Wagner scores. Hebner advances to third, and it's 5-0 Detroit here in the second inning. So with 2 down and Hebner at third, Kemp is up next. And after that long home run, he's going to fly out to right field, and that's the third out. So to the top of the third, and the lineup rolls over with Bobby Gritsch leading off. And Gritsch grounds it to Brookins at second base. There's 1 down. Next up is Carew, who is in the top 10 in batting average with his .317 average. And he grounds it to Brookins at second. And back-to-back ground outs to Brookins. It's 2 down. Next up is Kearney Lansford. And Lansford grounds it to short. And a 1-2-3 inning as Bibby's keeping the ball down on the ground. We head to the bottom of the third with Big Wheel Lance Parish leading off. 0 for 1 today. And there's a base hit to left. So Parish is on first. Here's Garry Hancock. He was out his first time up, and he's going to get an infield hit to short. And it's first and second now for Tony Armas. And I just want to check something with Hancock real quick. I believe he's got a massive hit streak going on. Yes, he does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 game hitting streak, which I believe is the longest of the year for the Tigers. And as I mentioned before, Hancock, by far our best player, totally out of the blue. Armas grounds it to short, and they turn 2. So with 2 down and Parish on third, here's Carlton Fisk. And Fisk grounds it to third. And the Angels get out of the inning unscathed. We go to the top of the fourth. Bibby at 40 pitches. And the recent call-up, John Harris, leading off the inning. He grounds it to short. Wagner makes the play. And here's Steve Lubrach. I don't know if you saw in the lineup rundown, but I had his rookie card visible. But I also added a separate card from the minor leagues where he's taking his baseball card shows him with his arm around a cutout of Whitney Houston. I thought that was kind of funny. So I wanted to add that to the presentation. And Lubrach gets a base hit to right field. That's the first hit since the second inning. One down. Don Baylor is up next. And Baylor rips it to left field. It gets down and all the way to the wall. Lubrach has to hold at third. And it's second and third now with one out. Bibby not up to standard. He doesn't have any strikeouts yet. And maybe he's hit the wall this season. He is a free agent as Ford grounds it to third and Lubrach has to hold. So, Bibby is a free agent at the end of the year. He's asking for $1.2 million, which we will not be able to afford. So this is it for him. He has to perform for us as Miller, with 2 outs, pops it up to third. And Bibby gets out of the inning. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Tommy Brookins leading off. He walked his first time up. And in this at-bat, he hits a fly ball to center field. Caught by Miller. There's one down. Next up is Mark Wagner. Wagner walks. So Knapp has walked the 8th and 9th hitters, which is always problematic. We're going to hit and run with Richie Hebner. Above average contact. And Hebner grounds it to short. And the shortstop, Lubrach, makes an error. 2 errors by the Angels. And it's first and second. Angels not playing like the first place team that they are. So one down. Runners at first and second. Here's JT. 0 for 1 with a walk. And he hits a line drive to center field, which is caught by Miller. And they're asking me if I want to have Wagner tag up. I'm going to say no because we have Kemp coming up. We don't want the third out at third. And I think Kemp, who's already has a home run today, has a chance here to drive in some runs. Oh, nope, he's going to walk instead. So the bases are loaded. It's 4 walks against 0 strikeouts for Knapp. And the bases are now loaded for Lance Parish. And we're going to let this guy swing away. Oh, it's a 1-2 count. And he does strike out. So Knapp gets on the board with AK. And we head to the top of the 5th. Bibby at 60 pitches with the number 9 hitter Rick Miller leading off. He's 0 for 1 today. And he lines it right at Hebner at third for the first out. So one down as we head to the top of the lineup with Bobby Gritsch. Gritsch strikes out looking. There's the first strikeout for Bibby today. So 2 down as Rod Carew steps in. And Carew gets a base hit to left field. And runner on first now for Kearney Lansford. And Lansford flips it down the right field line for a base hit. Carew pulls into third standing, and it's first and third with 2 outs. And John Harris with a chance to get the Angels on the board. But Harris pops it up on the infield, and Brookins calls for it. Oh, he drops it. Oh, no. Come on. So the run scores on the error by Brookins as Brookins is playing out of position. But still a makeable play, I would think. And now there's an opportunity here for the gates to be blown open as Steve Lubrach steps in with 2 outs, runners at first and second, and Bibby walks Lubrach. And the big man, Don Baylor, who definitely has pop. He's got 14 home runs on the year. And we just have to pray that this isn't the game moguling us. And Baylor strikes out swinging. Wow. So that was a little bit hairy there as Bibby works his way out of the jam that was contributed to by Brookins. We head to the bottom of the 5th. We have a 5-1 lead. Garry Hancock leading off. And he rips it to right. But it's caught by the right fielder, Dan Ford. And that's 1 down. Tony Armas up next. He strikes out swinging. That's 2 Ks for Knapp. Armas has not found his way with the Tigers so far. 2 down. Fisk is up next, and he strikes out swinging as it now lists Chris Knapp as tired. So to the top of the 6th, we're going to switch the stats over to the in-game stats. Take a look here and see. It looks like either Kemp or Hebner could be the player of the game thus far, as Dan Ford leads off. And Ford hits a home run, just clearing the fence at 377 feet into left field. And the score is now 5-2. 84 pitches for Bibby, and he's coming up on his max as Daryl Miller gets a base hit to center field. And, I think we have to let Bibby try to work himself out of this. He's been doing it all game as Parish misses the ball and Daryl Miller advances to second base. So runner in scoring position for Rick Miller. And this could be it for Bibby as Miller pops it up. Thompson's under it, and there's one out. So this could be the last batter as Carew's up after Gritsch. Yep, that's it for Bibby. So not a good performance as he leaves with the lead 5-2, but we're in a jam, and we need to bring in a lefty, and we only have Capizzello. So we're calling on Cappy to get us through this. 44th game, no record, 2.58 ERA. He's pitched pretty poorly lately. 30 Ks and 38 strikeouts. 30 Ks and 38 innings pitched. Opponent's batting .215. He's got 2 walks, and he recently blew his second save opportunity. And he's got a tough one here with Rod Carew, only batting .230 versus lefties. And he strikes out Carew for the second out. I almost want to walk Lansford, but we're playing with fire. Lansford batting .368 versus lefties. Okay, so we're going to guard the lines and try to prevent an extra base hit. And we got to let him pitch to him. And there's a base hit to left field. Rick Miller scores, and it's 5-3. So that run is tacked on to Bibby as with 2 outs, John Harris steps in. Lefty on lefty, and Cappy gets Harris to pop it up to Brookins at second. And we get out of the inning. So they just put a couple on the board as we've turned it over to the bullpen, which is always a bad sign. Tommy Brookins will lead off the inning. And he grounds it to first. Harris steps on the bag, 1 down. Next up is Mark Wagner, 0 for 1 with a walk today. He grounds it to short. 2 down. And that's going to be it for Knapp as they bring in Dave Schuler, a lefty. This is only his 6th game of the year, but he's 0-2 in those 6 relief appearances. 5, I should say. Today's his 6th. ERA's 3.72. He's given up 12 hits in 9.2 innings, so opponents are batting .300 against him. Not much else to tell, as Hebner, a .154 hitter, steps in. And Hebner grounds it to Harris at first, and a 1-2-3 inning. So to the 7th, we have a bunch of righties coming up. So we're going to take out Capizzello, and we're going to bring in the new guy, Andy Replogle, who had 1.1 innings pitched yesterday without giving up a run. And he's going to face Steve Lubrach, who quickly gets a base hit to left field. Next up is Don Baylor. And Baylor gets a base hit to center. We are in trouble as it's 1st and 3rd. And we're going to keep the infield back to try to turn 2 against Dan Ford. And Ford strikes out. He gave us one there. And it's the first K for Replogle. I don't know what his name is. So Now we have the slow catcher. Oh, actually, his speed is 90. That's pretty good for a catcher, right? So there's decent speed on the base pass. Hopefully we can turn two. As Replogle gets Daryl Miller. And we have a chance to get out of this with Rick Miller, who's batting .323 against righties. What are the chances we can get out of this? Oh, I think he's going to walk him. Nope. Actually, Miller swings at a 3-1 count. And Hancock coasts in and makes the catch for the third out. So somehow we got out of that situation. And we head to the bottom of the seventh. Here's JT leading off against Schuler. Thompson over 200 now versus lefties. That's impressive. And he adds to that with a base hit to center field. And we're not going to... Whoa, that's way back there. It must have got past Miller. But we don't really need it that badly. What we will do is we will hit and run as Kemp with his 90 contact should keep out of the double play situation, which he does as he grounds it to short. Thompson's at second, and Parish has a chance here to get another run knocked in. And he grounds it to second. Thompson goes to third. And that's going to be two down, up to Garry Hancock to be a hero. He is only batting .151 with no extra base hits or walks against lefties this season. And Hancock grounds it weakly to second, and that's the end of the inning. So we head to the eighth, and it's the top of the lineup with Gritsch. And as much as I don't want to, we're going to take out Replogle, and we're going to bring in Roger Weaver. And Weaver has struggled also lately. This is his 54th game, seriously overused, 5-0 record, 3.74 ERA, more walks than strikeouts, and opponents are batting .237 against him. He had one horrific game 3 games ago against the Sox where he gave up 4 runs. But he had 2 good outings in a row after that, so let's see if we can continue that. With Bobby Gritsch batting .295 versus righties, 1 for 3 today. And he grounds it to Brookins, who makes the play for the first out. And now Rod Carew has a base hit today, .346 hitter. Lines it to center field. And Armas makes the catch for 2 down. So here's Kearney Lansford. He's 2 for 3 with a ribby. And he pulls it down the left field line. It falls in for a hit. And he has to hold at first. So with 2 down, here's John Harris, who does have decent power. He is the tying run. And we have to let Weaver pitch to him one way or another. And Harris hits it on a line to center field. And it is caught by Harris. So back-to-back quality innings from our relievers brings us to the bottom of the 8th, and Dave LaRoche steps in to pitch to Tony Armas. This is his 29th game, 10-4 in relief. Wow, 5.34 ERA, not great. Opponents are batting .268 against him, and he used to be a closer, but he is in the setup role as a lefty. And Tony Armas will be the first one to greet him. And Armas grounds it to first. There's 1 down. Next up is Carlton Fisk, who hits lefties really well, .344. But he hits it off the end of the bat, pops it up to foul ground on the right side, and Harris makes the catch. So 2 down for Brookins, who's 0 for 2, and he strikes out looking. So a quick inning as we go to the top of the 9th, and we're going to bring in Tobic to close it out. He has 1 save on the year, and this is his 63rd game. We're not even out of August yet. He's 4-4 with a .352 ERA, 30 walks, 31 strikeouts. Not a great ratio. Opponents are batting .269 against him. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he's given up runs in 4 of the last 6 relief outings. taking the loss in 3 of them. So this is no guarantee, as he's got 4 righties to face. We could do some defensive substitutions, but that would defeat the purpose of giving our players the day off as Tobik walks the first guy. And that immediately brings up Don Baylor with a chance to tie the game. And Baylor grounds it to second. Would that be 2? Oh, nope, just to get the lead runner. So 1 down. That should have been 2. If it were Whitaker and Trammell, that might have been. So 1 down. Baylor's at first. Dan Ford is up next. And Ford grounds it to first. Could that be 2? It is. So the Tigers turn a double play, and we get the victory in the first game of the series, 5-3. I have no idea who the player of the game should be. There were so many bland performances contributing to the win. Let's take a look at the transactions first. Nothing of note here as we pull up the calendar, and we did gain a game back in the standings. We gained 1 full game as we're now 3.5 back of the Yankees, and we've put another 3.5 games between us and Baltimore. So you got to like that. Let's pull up the box score. We'll get out of here. Who is the player of the game? Bibby got the win. That's his 15th win, which ties him for the league lead. Terrible performance for him, technically. Man, not a lot going on here. I guess we're going to give it to Kemp, who had the home run. He had 2 RBIs. So Kemp's our player of the game. That was his home run number 13. Bibby, as I mentioned, 15-7. And Tobik gets his 2nd save. Dan Ford had a home run earlier. That was his 8th. And a sloppy game for the Angels as they had a couple errors that contributed to the loss. Chris Knapp took the loss, and he's 0-2 now. So that's it here from Tiger Stadium. We'll be back tomorrow with game 2 of the 4-game series. Until then, everyone, have a great night.